Take a moment to reflect. Do you ever feel that life can become too complicated? Today, we will discuss how the fast pace of modern life can often lead to feelings of fatigue and exhaustion. Many of us face mental and emotional strain, and that is perfectly normal. However, it is important to recognize these feelings and find ways to restore our inner balance. If you are looking for practical tips on how to protect your emotional energy and create a calmer atmosphere in your life, you are in the right place. Let's explore methods together that can help you regain harmony and joy in each day. Let's begin our journey to recovery. Number 1. Excessive worries. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by all the things that could go wrong? Excessive worries are a familiar state for many of us. They can take over your mind and refuse to let go, draining your emotional energy. Excessive worries are not just minor concerns. These are the thoughts that constantly loop in your head, creating tension and anxiety. Each of us faces them at some point in our lives, whether it's fear of a job interview or worries about a loved one's health. When we dive into these worries, we're not just wasting time, we're losing our mental strength. Think about how often you worry about what your boss will say in the next meeting. You imagine the worst-case scenarios, and it exhausts you. As a result, you show up to the meeting drained, with low self-esteem and self-doubt. Here, it's worth recalling the Stoic teaching about the importance of distinguishing between what we can control and what is beyond our control. This is a key point. If we expend our energy worrying about what we cannot change, we only exacerbate our state. Imagine you have an important presentation tomorrow. Instead of focusing on preparation, you spend the whole night worrying about what if the audience doesn't accept your ideas. Your anxiety won't change the outcome, but it will change your mental state. You will appear tired and uncertain, and as a result, your performance will suffer. So when anxiety grips you, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let go of that burden. If yes, direct your energy towards actions you can take. Prepare thoroughly, but don't let fear rob you of sleep. Remember, excessive worries can rob you of your peace of mind. By focusing on what you can control, you will free your mental space and start living with greater calmness and confidence. Stoics teach us that by letting go of what is beyond our control, we gain true freedom. And it is in this freedom that we find the strength for a fulfilling life. Number 2. Toxic relationships. How many times have you noticed that some people around you can literally drain your energy? Have you found yourself in relationships where, instead of support and inspiration, you only feel exhaustion and disappointment? This is not uncommon. It's essential to recognize and manage toxic relationships before they start to deplete you. As a wise person once said, choose who you spend your time with. The quality of our surroundings directly affects our inner peace and emotional balance. Think about it. In each of our lives, there are people who bring more problems than support. Maybe it's an acquaintance who constantly criticizes, or a friend who doesn't know what positivity is. Every conversation with them ends in a knot of nerves and fatigue. You try to help, but it seems the situation never changes. This is the exhaustion from a toxic relationship. Now think, how many times have you allowed negative relationships to affect your mental well-being? You may have felt guilty for wanting to distance yourself, but remember, we cannot change others. We can only choose how to react to their behavior. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in handy. It offers a powerful solution, emotional detachment. This doesn't mean cutting off all connections. Rather, it's the ability to distance yourself from negative influences. It's not coldness, but a way to protect your energy and inner peace. It's important to remember, there is nothing more crucial in our world than how we respond to our surroundings. If someone brings you conflict or negativity, instead of getting swept up in that energy, you can choose not to engage. Set clear boundaries and ask yourself, am I sacrificing my peace for this relationship? If the answer is yes, it may be time to create distance for your own protection. By stepping away from drama and toxic people, you preserve your energy, which ultimately allows you to grow and develop. Remember, not all relationships deserve your effort. Toxic connections not only deplete you, but also hinder you from becoming the best version of yourself. You deserve an environment that inspires, supports, and helps you move forward. So choose wisely. Your inner peace is your strength. Number 3. Monotonous routine. Have you ever wondered how often monotony can drain you? Each day seems similar to the one before, and you start to feel physical and mental fatigue building up. But the problem isn't a lack of time, it's how we choose to use it. An endless routine can sap your energy, not because you're overwhelmed with tasks, but because you're disconnected from what truly matters. When your actions become automatic and meaningless, emotional exhaustion becomes inevitable. We often lose motivation not due to the number of tasks, but because of a lack of clear understanding of why we're doing them. How often do you wake up, go to work, return home, and repeat the same duties without thinking about the purpose of all these actions? This is a trap that pulls you into a cycle of demotivation. Imagine that every morning you repeat the same actions, and soon it turns into a mechanical routine. You lack clarity and purpose, leading to feelings of emptiness and fatigue. As Marcus Aurelius said, do everything as if it were the last thing you were going to do in your life. This is not a call to hurry, but a reminder of the importance of mindfulness in every action. Even the simplest tasks can become meaningful if you approach them with the right mindset. The key to breaking this endless cycle isn't to stop doing what you do, but to change your approach. Ask yourself questions like, why am I doing this? And what can I gain from this task? Even in routine, you can find meaning if you fill it with purpose. Sometimes routine is necessary, but how you perceive it makes the difference between fatigue and satisfaction. So when it feels like routine is consuming you, pause and ask yourself, how can I add more meaning to my day? Look for small opportunities to learn, be grateful for what you do, and incorporate activities that truly matter into your life. Remember, it's not the routine that drains you, but the absence of purpose within it. By finding meaning in each action, you become someone who doesn't let routine control their life. You can take control by infusing your actions with intention and purpose. Number 4. Overwhelm from too many tasks. Have you ever felt paralyzed by the sheer number of tasks? It seems like for every task you complete, 2 new ones emerge, and you get lost in this endless cycle. Overwhelm not only drains you physically, but also affects your mental state, making you feel out of control. Stoics like Seneca understood this state and offered practical solutions. He said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This thought prompts us to consider how we use our days and what priorities we set. Often, the feeling of overwhelm arises not from the sheer number of tasks, but from the inability to set clear boundaries and priorities. Think about it. It's not the number of tasks that overwhelms you, but the feeling that you need to do everything at once. You try to meet expectations at work, in your family, and in your personal life, ultimately losing sight of what truly matters. Imagine your typical day starts with a long to-do list. You feel the need to accomplish everything immediately, but by evening you realize you haven't made any progress. This not only tires you out, but also robs you of focus and energy. How many times have you felt overwhelmed, unsuccessfully trying to handle it all? This state not only causes stress, but also creates the illusion that there is never enough time. Here, the Stoics offer an important lesson. Focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius asserted, "It is better to do less, but to do it well." The key to overcoming overwhelm lies in the ability to prioritize. Not all tasks are created equal, and not everything that seems urgent is truly important. The Stoics suggest a simple yet effective solution. Categorize your tasks. Identify the most important ones and allow the rest to take a back seat. Learn to say no to what isn't crucial and delegate when possible. It's not just about doing more in less time, but about focusing on what really yields results. Next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, what is truly important right now? What can be postponed or handed off to someone else? Not all tasks require the same amount of energy and attention. The ability to prioritize will help you feel more in control and less fatigued. In reality, it isn't the number of tasks that exhausts us, but our inability to prioritize and focus on what's essential. By infusing each day with purpose, you'll not only gain clarity, but also reclaim the energy to accomplish what truly matters. Number 5. Excessive strictness with oneself. How many times have you caught yourself thinking that you demand more from yourself than from those around you? How many times have you punished yourself for mistakes that perhaps aren't even worth dwelling on? Being too hard on yourself isn't just a habit. It's a real trap that drains our emotional energy and prevents us from moving forward with confidence. Stoic philosophy offers us an important lesson. Self-compassion and balance are keys to maintaining our mental well-being. As Seneca said, it's not about what happens to you, but how you handle it. Unfortunately, when it comes to ourselves, we often forget about compassion. Perfectionism and self-criticism may seem motivating, but in reality, they only exacerbate the problem. Every time you judge yourself for a mistake or demand the impossible, you undermine your energy. This constant self-critical thinking creates a barrier that hinders you from learning and growing. Imagine you made a mistake at work. Instead of using that experience as a learning opportunity, you start berating yourself, thinking you could have done better. This approach not only fails to lead to improvement, but also traps you in a cycle of disappointment. Now think, how many times have you felt drained, blaming yourself for insignificant things? Being too hard on yourself doesn't make you stronger. It simply robs you of energy and confidence. Stoics teach that balance is key to a healthy self-perception. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept everything that happens to you, even your mistakes." This doesn't mean being passive. Rather, it means learning to be as understanding toward yourself as you would be toward a friend who made a mistake. The solution offered by the Stoics lies in developing an attitude of acceptance and self-compassion. Mistakes are part of human nature. Instead of criticizing yourself, ask the question, what can I learn from this? Self-compassion doesn't excuse mistakes. It helps you learn from them without punishing yourself in the process. When you catch yourself being too hard on yourself, stop and ask, would I treat someone else this harshly? If the answer is no, then it's time to change your attitude. Remember that excessive strictness doesn't bring you closer to your goals. True strength lies in the ability to accept your mistakes and continue moving forward with confidence. Stoics teach us that the balance between constructive criticism and self-compassion is what truly helps us grow and preserve our energy. Number 6. Lack of adequate rest. How many times have you felt that despite all the tasks you've completed, your body and mind remain drained? It's a familiar feeling when every completed task gives rise to new ones. We live in a world where productivity is valued above all else, and unfortunately, rest is often seen as something secondary. Stoics like Seneca understood the importance of restoration. He said, "It is necessary to take a break, for constant work without rest will inevitably lead to a downfall." This wise observation is more relevant than ever. To function effectively, we need time to recover. Consider our society, where the never-ending race for success has become the norm. We forget that a lack of quality rest is one of the primary causes of physical and emotional exhaustion. If you don't give your body and mind time to recover, you risk becoming irritable and ineffective. Imagine you've had a busy week filled with tasks and commitments. At the end of the day, instead of allowing yourself to relax, you continue working or distract yourself with screens. As a result, your body and mind remain in a state of constant activity, exacerbating fatigue and leading to a cycle of chronic exhaustion. Ask yourself, how many times have you underestimated the importance of adequate rest? Perhaps you thought you could push through a bit longer, but in reality, rest is not a choice, but a necessity. Depriving yourself of recovery time weakens your ability to think clearly and make sound decisions. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius emphasized that the soul finds peace when the body receives the necessary rest. This makes us reflect on how caring for the body is directly linked to our mental state. To preserve your emotional and mental energy, it's essential to prioritize rest. This isn't just about sleep, it's about regular breaks, moments of silence and reflection. These small pauses not only enhance your productivity, but also protect your well-being. So, at the moment when you feel drained or are working on autopilot, stop and ask yourself, have I prioritized rest, or am I sacrificing it for the illusion of productivity? Set aside time for adequate rest so your mind and body can rejuvenate and regain clarity. Remember that without sufficient rest, your true well-being is at risk. Allow yourself to recover, and you'll be surprised at how it transforms your perspective and quality of life. Number 7. Neglecting personal time. How many times have you put your own needs aside to meet the demands of others? In a world filled with expectations and obligations, it's easy to forget about yourself. Neglecting personal time is one of those common mistakes that can lead to emotional and mental exhaustion. Stoics were well aware of the importance of restoration. As Marcus Aurelius said, we need to retreat like a sailor seeking a safe harbor during a storm. This serves as a reminder that we all need time for reflection and recovery to avoid losing ourselves in the endless hustle of daily life. Every day, we face numerous commitments: work, family, social gatherings. In the quest to do it all, we often forget to carve out time for ourselves. This leads to feelings of exhaustion and emptiness. Personal time isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity for life. Imagine that after a week full of tasks and responsibilities, you haven't found a single minute for yourself. What is it like to always be connected and available for others? This creates a sense of fatigue, making even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Now think, how many times have you been so busy that you couldn't allow yourself even a small break? You might have thought there would be time later, but that time never seems to arrive. Neglecting personal time not only distances you from your own interests, but also diminishes your ability to cope with stress and life's demands. Stoics taught that to maintain inner balance, one needs time for self-reflection and self-care. Seneca emphasized the importance of setting aside time for the mind, regardless of how you use it, for contemplation, rest, or engaging in a favorite hobby. This time should be protected from external distractions. Take moments to be alone with yourself, disconnect from everything around you, and reconnect with what truly matters to you. This could be an hour a day for a walk outdoors, or simply a moment of silence and reflection. The key is to make this time inviolable. Next time you feel tired or lose connection with yourself, stop and ask, how can I reclaim this time? Find a moment to focus on your needs and take a break. This isn't selfishness. It's essential care for your emotional and mental well-being. It's important to remember that to give your best to others, you must first take care of yourself. Number 8. Do not resist what already exists. In life, we often face disappointments when our plans are threatened with failure. This feeling is deeply familiar to many of us. We strive to control events, but ultimately become emotionally exhausted when reality does not align with our expectations. The Stoics pointed out that resistance to the inevitable is one of the main causes of suffering. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that it is important to accept the design of the universe, even when it seems illogical or unfair. This approach, known as amor fati, teaches us to love our fate and embrace circumstances that we cannot change. Much of our emotional exhaustion arises from the struggle against what is beyond our control. We become angry when things do not go as we expected and feel helpless when plans fall apart. However, resisting reality only intensifies our pain without changing the situation itself. Imagine a scenario where you've been working hard on an important project, but suddenly everything goes awry. Deadlines change, resources run out, and you have to revise your plans. In such moments, it's natural to feel disappointed. But the more you resist what has already happened, the less able you are to find constructive solutions. It's important to recognize how much energy is wasted fighting against what cannot be changed. Often we try to change people or circumstances, but reality remains stubbornly unchanged. This internal struggle drains us, while the issue itself may be less significant than it seems. The Stoics teach us that accepting reality is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." This simple yet profound reminder helps us understand that while we cannot control everything happening around us, we can control our reaction to it. The energy we typically expend on resistance is better directed toward actions that are truly within our power. Instead of struggling against difficulties, ask yourself, is this situation under my control? If not, accept it as it is. This doesn't mean you should remain inactive. Rather, act from a place of calm, without clinging to what should have been. Acceptance is not resignation. It is an expression of inner strength. It is the ability to live in harmony with reality, allowing yourself to move forward with a clear mind and an open heart. Number 9. Comparing yourself to others. In our fast-changing world, full of social media and constant expectations, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. Every day, we see the successes of friends, colleagues, and even strangers, and an internal struggle begins. Why am I not where they are? The Stoics teach that this comparison is not only useless, but also destructive to our emotional state. Instead of expending energy trying to be better than others, we should focus on being better than we were yesterday. That is the true measure of progress. Imagine you're sitting at work and your colleague receives a promotion or praise for a successful project. In that moment, your mind starts comparing your situation to theirs. Why don't you have such successes? Why do your achievements seem insignificant? This comparison only clouds your own successes and leads to feelings of disappointment and envy. Each of us walks a unique path, and everyone has their own circumstances and challenges. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your own achievements. Your successes, even if small, matter. They are your story, your progress. Comparing yourself to others does not bring you closer to happiness. It only distances you from it. The Stoics teach us that true value lies in our own progress. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste time asking yourself if others do it better than you. Focus on what you can do, and do it to the best of your ability." True competition should be directed inward. The question is not how you are better than others, but how you can become better than you were yesterday. Every step toward self-improvement is a step toward inner peace and satisfaction. When you feel the temptation to compare yourself to someone else, stop and ask yourself, how can I grow and develop without being distracted by the successes of others? Focus on your own path, on your goals, and let your inner light shine. Remember that true strength and satisfaction come when we stop comparing ourselves to others and start appreciating our unique journey to success. In conclusion, remember that life is not a competition with others, but a path to self-improvement. Acceptance of reality, self-care, and focus on your own progress will help you create harmony and inner peace. Don't forget to carve out time for rest and self-reflection, as well as to celebrate your achievements. Allow yourself to be yourself and move forward based on your own values and goals. Your path is unique, and that is what makes it valuable. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. If you find this video helpful, share it with your friends and loved ones. Let's grow our community together. Share your experience in this area. How do you handle similar situations? Write your tips in the comments. Remember that your well-being is a priority. Good luck on your journey.